I'm super excited to do this interview with you because it's been really fun working together so far. And so I wanted to be able to just kind of share a little bit about your story and a little bit about your experience working together. And we just want to ask you some questions about where you were at before, what your experience has been like now, and then also what things you're excited for in the future. So start off first by just kind of telling a little bit about what your business is, who you help, how you help them, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for even asking me to do this. And I consider it a privilege to be able to do this. So I am a faith-based life and business coach. And most of my work that is paid is my business coaching. And it seems almost like my life coaching is getting to be kind of giving back. Regardless, it's all about elevating the kingdom and just getting people into that sweet spot that they have in
Right.
their business or their life. And that sweet spot is where they're truly partnered with God and tapping into the Trinity and all that offers. And of course, their business will grow and their life, I think, will just continue to grow with God that way too.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so tell me a little bit about, before we worked together, what was your experience like of what kind of things were you focused on in your business to generate revenue, to do marketing and that sort of thing?
Yeah. Well, what's something I can't not say is, we sort of do what we know, right? That's all
Mhm.
we can do. And so at that point, I was a business coach just like I am now, but I just knew it only one way and the way I was taught. And so learning um some new ways was what I needed. And at that point, what I was doing was campaigning every 3 months, throwing away my efforts and starting all over every 3 months.
Mhm.
And, it was good. It worked. And I suppose we'll talk about money a little bit more later, but, it would be about a $30,000 campaign. But that's not very much when you're trying
Yeah.
to grow your business and you're doing that every quarter.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, I would have these 3 month masterminds and then every quarter redo it and say goodbye to those people. And it
Mm.
was just pretty laborious. And I was
Yeah.
teaching people how to do things that way.
I see. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. So before you were kind of doing like a once a quarter type of thing where it was a one campaign every quarter. And yeah, so we had actually met each other through a business coaching program that I was doing some coaching on the side for, and you were one of the clients. And you ended up getting on one of my implementation calls and just kind of deciding. I threw it out there, hey, if you want someone to help you write your landing pages, write your emails, kind of help you out with the strategy, and you were like, "What? I should have just hired you from the beginning." I remember that
So
conversation.
true. I
Yeah.
was so like, dang. Well, the thing is that, I heard you told coaching someone else. It might have been Darren. And he said something and you were like, well, that page you made a reference. And I'm like, whoa. You do that for people? And then
Yeah.
you said, yeah. And so I immediately jumped on that. But you know what? I can't help but not mention that the reason why I did that was because my mom had just recently passed away and I had extra money. And I I don't think I would have. I remember saying to you, it's interesting that I would bet on myself for my mom's cause, but not my own.
Mm,
And I think, and it worked, and I haven't had to use a dime of her money,
right.
but we're afraid to invest for more when it's so in between. Like I barely could have been doing this. I needed the next level and I really did. I wasn't at that level to next level, right? But that's
Mhm.
the way it is. And you're going to have to make some wise risks. And,
Yeah.
when you're a faith-based coach like you are, and I saw your work every week. I was in those meetings. Now I've got you privately, so I don't have to necessarily hop
Yeah.
in, but I was one that showed up and applied. And so I knew what you were like. And
Mm.
I was so grateful that I had that money and then I still haven't used it.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, God really moved, and you were able to be super profitable in the first month, and you didn't need to touch that money at all, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Or their sense. Hmm.
Yeah. So, what was it that sparked your interest in wanting to work together originally? Was it that you were wanting help with the strategy side of thing? Was it just that you felt like, I'm at a point now where I need to be able to have someone else
Mhm,
who their zone of genius is
mhm,
this type of stuff and
mhm.
pass it on to them? What was that initial motivation for you?
I think that all entrepreneurs that are kind of in this space will resonate with this, but you kind of get to the point where you're successful. I mean, I was in six figures and it was okay, right?
Hmm.
But you know that you're holding yourself back. And that's where I was. Like I knew that I needed more systems. I did not have those nor, and also there's this weird place. If anyone's listening to this, I just want you to know it's okay. Cause I'm pretty savvy on the computer. Like I really am. But
Hmm.
I was like, I don't want to learn anything else. Like if I can afford it, I want somebody who knows that and can do all that and can do it faster. Like I don't want to be that person
Yeah.
anymore. And that's, I knew that I could figure it out. I could grit. I was tired of that. And
Same.
I knew that you knew how. I watched you time after time. And I knew that you help people that are doing successful, great work now.
Yeah.
So I just knew you were the first person I was going to reach out to.
Hmm. Wow, that's awesome. Well, I feel honored. So thank you for saying
Thank you.
that.
Yeah.
So a couple of things that we ended up deciding to do when we worked on with you at the beginning was we wanted to make sure that you were set up with your tracking to be able to give you a way to actually track all the metrics of your marketing. We also wanted to make sure that you were consistently emailing your list and that we're really able to maximize those campaigns. And how has that experience been so far about having your funnels, your campaigns, your emails is kind of pretty much taken care of for you?
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's so great. And you know, I was in charge of everything. So I had some VAs that were helping me do stuff, but it was on my shoulders constantly like, did we do this? Is that connected? Is whatever. And everything we did was so homemade. Everything we did was so like you just make it do and figure out, and you don't know exactly how to do this. So you do this instead. And with you, it was done and done the right way. And it's just such a stress relief. So that's huge.
Mm,
Um, I can't even tell people how freeing it is. I guess it's
mm,
not freeing when it's your own VA or whoever, and you're having to teach them how to do everything. But this
right.
person, you don't need taught. You're telling me what to do. So I
Yeah.
love.
That's awesome. I'm sure kind of having that someone who can offer you that leadership and not just be a yes man to do what, all this.
Yeah. I don't want to jump because you just said leadership. So can I say something now?
Yeah,
You could
of
cut it and
course.
move into a different spot if you need to. But that makes me think of something that you did say during our interview that kind of imposter syndrome or something.
Mm,
You kept saying the word CEO.
mm,
And I had never thought of myself that way. And it kind of was like, and then as we coached every single week, it was like, here's your CEO responsibilities and here's this. Or you'd
yeah.
say, well, you're not really functioning like a CEO here. And like you'd constantly say that and hold me to that.
Mhm,
And that has been very helpful for me to stop seeing myself as the one working there with everyone else, because is that what I want? Is that where I should be? And how much am I helping them by keeping myself there?
right.
And so, yeah, that is a really good benefit of working with you.
Mm,
You're
yeah.
growing my leadership.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. So, what kinds of things has working together freed you up to be able to do that? Maybe you didn't realize were needed or were important, but now that you have the experience of being freed up, that now you realize, wow, I really need this. I never thought that I needed this, and I'm really glad that I have this now.
hmm Well, the first one is the systems. Like I had all sorts of systems. And like I said before, they're very homemade. You have systems that are integrated and they function on their own. They don't need anybody to stop halfway through and, move something over. Everything's just so connected. And that helps us be able to fix things fast. I love how you'll call me and be like, hey, 2 emails in, I think we need to change things. And I'm like, do you? Okay, go for it. I'm just going to trust you on this. And I love that. I don't have to think about that. I would probably have gotten through the whole campaign and then
Mm,
been like, things are declining and,
yeah.
then I've lost money, but you're catching everything so fast and altering it. And also just, not wasting the time on content for those emails. Like, I can do it,
Mhm.
but you have a marketing mind. And so when you're writing them, you're thinking of all these other things that I just am learning right now because I'm seeing the emails that you write and I'm like, yeah, that is great. Why have I not been putting that in there? You're
Yeah.
just, it's just that, why do I want to hire someone who's barely learning things myself to do
Mhm.
things versus somebody who's an expert at it? Like
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful.
Yeah. Totally.
Mhm.
And what kinds of systems do you feel have been the most impactful for you up until this
Yeah.
point?
Yeah. There's almost like, and I don't know I'm not real sure what you call it, but it's almost like my time mapping. You sort of, we have these weekly growth sessions. And then at that time, I am pretty responsible. If I get assigned
Yeah.
something, I'm going to do it. And if I don't, then you figured me out enough to say, okay, there's something not right in your schedule then because you would do it. And
Mm,
so then you kind of forced me to look at my schedule and, and it's still a work in progress, but you're constantly helping me um, prioritize my time well and teach my people how to be more independent.
yeah.
And I love that. And they love that. Right.
Yeah.
And one of a couple different things that you've had me do that I'm so grateful for is hiring a person to do my chats and sales. And that even took a while, like to get the right person. I think I finally do. She's done a couple and it's good.
Yeah.
But just knowing that these things that I just think I would wait months or years to do that each week, you're like, challenge me to be more and more independent and have them be more and more independent is great.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I remember that when we first started working together, you were kind of doing that thing that's very easy for business owners to do, which is that every time that there was a new system being introduced, you would be on the calls, kind of almost babysitting or holding their hands of the team. So I remember you were working on a ClickUp system and you were planning on getting on a whole call to go and figure it out and spend hours with them. And I remember telling you, hey, the
Excellent.
way you want to lead your team is you want to say, hey, this is the outcome that I want you to create, and I want you to figure out how to create it. So now way your hands are off of it, your team can now be more independent and you're no longer the bottleneck. And that was something we talked about in maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And
Yeah.
how has that made it in?
That's so good. And Alan too, like I really didn't believe in that philosophy. Like I don't know if it was the nurse in me or what, but like you have to go and train them and make sure they know what they're doing before you let them go, right?
Mm, yeah,
And you had different philosophy. You were like, you figure it out, like you got this and I'll support you.
yeah,
And so I tried that with my team who I had taught to be very dependent on me. So, there was like a month where they were kind of floundering and
mhm,
because I wasn't there. And then you just had me go back the next week. You're like, nope. And literally the employee that I wanted to see do it, who wasn't really stepping to it, I let them fall. And then the very next week, somehow he figured it all out. And I was like, thank goodness I didn't waste all those hours trying to figure that out when that was my main thing with you. I was sick
right.
of figuring things out and gritting through as best as I could. So I'm just so grateful. And I need to keep doing more of this. And I know you'll probably push me to.
Yeah, definitely, definitely will. So how many hours per week would you say that you've now gotten back as a CEO from some of the
Oh,
campaigns, now the way that we're doing the campaigns now, the way that we're
yeah.
doing sales, the way we're doing systems?
I really don't want to exaggerate in this, but I mean, I feel like half of my time.
Wow.
Like I do. I mean, my staff, we just got out of a staff meeting right now. And and I was telling them that, sorry, I wasn't in this weekend. And I have for the last 3, maybe 4 weekends been on a whole weekend bike ride with my husband. Like
Mm.
that was something that we would maybe do twice a year.
Wow.
And so I don't want to exaggerate, but I really do think that half of my time.
Mm.
Now I will say even some things have been filled in those spots that I'm not micromanaging, but they're filled in with things that are more CEO things.
Yeah.
And that's only growing us faster. So it's all good.
Yeah. That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I remember when we were mapping out your hours and how many hours a week and kind of cutting things out and replacing them. I remember when we worked on that, but I guess I hadn't realized that it really saved you half of your time.
I would say so without exaggerating. Now
Yeah.
I'll admit that I've filled some of it back up. I'm just a worker. I
Yeah.
am.
Of course.
I like to play too, and I wasn't doing that enough, nor sleeping,
Mm.
even just exercising, like all those life balance things
Mm.
were getting to the serious point, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, tell me a little bit about the life balance things because as entrepreneurs, yeah, we want to be able to grow businesses, we want to be able to transform lives, but there's also a aspect to it where we want to be able to invest in other types of wealth. There's your health, of course, your relationships with your family, your spouse, your time with God, and your mental health. How has that been impacted since we started
Yeah.
working together?
Yeah, it really has. So, you know, when you're the people that I work with, and for me, I'm very faith-based. And so my whole premise of my company is to work the call that God has on your life. So it's like, of course you're going to give it everything you've got, right?
Hmm.
But we can easily muddy that. And
Yeah.
God never wanted us to give up on our family. He never wanted us to not take care of our temple, our body
Right.
that he dwells in, right?
Right.
But we can easily do that. And I'm prone to it. I know this because I'm a worker and I care about the call.
Yeah.
But I have to have those priorities straight. And I was getting so off balance just by trying to do everything. And now just it's freer. My
Mhm.
time is just freer. And you know, you're getting me to honor it. No, you're getting me to open my eyes to it.
Mm.
And now that my eyes are more open to it, I'm honoring it more. And
Mm.
so it's just good. It's just
That's
good.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, I have to give glory to God on that one because I believe it's in Ecclesiastes where Solomon said to not toil to get wealth. And that's the fact that now he's been able to work in your life to help you to have more balance while still growing your business
Mhm.
is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it is great.
Yeah. So the big question that everyone's probably wondering, before we started working together, you said that you were doing 30K every quarter, which would be about 10K per month. How much would you say that you've been averaging now since we've
You
been
know,
working together?
you'd probably know this. You know that I'm more like just I'll do my work, let the money take care of itself. But you
Yeah.
know, I would say an average of 40 to 50 because I'll have one campaign that's maybe bigger and then
Yeah.
another month that isn't.
Yeah.
And when we're doing that per month, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So that's almost quadruple or quintuple what you were
Kind
doing
of
before.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, can we tell them what I did with my first check?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Go for it. Tell them.
I didn't even know I did it till afterwards, but
Yeah.
so yeah, that first campaign, it was the first month was close to 70,000. And of
Yeah.
course, you know, that's pretty close to what I was making in a year,
Yeah.
a little under and stuff, but still I was I do business coaching mostly, and all the life coaching, life transformation, discipleship stuff is kind of the side stuff.
Hmm.
And I was so delighted because I had had this vision of building these homes and serving people who don't have homes and discipling them there. And at the same time that I hired Alan, I got a call from a nonprofit that wondered if I could help mother these homes.
Hmm.
And so they were little kind of crack houses. They were so bad and dirty and gross. And my first hunk of money, just like I got a bunch of girlfriends and we went and bought everything we needed and fixed those apartments up. And,
Yeah.
you know, I turned around at the end of the month. I'm like, where'd all my money go?
Yeah.
But it was fun and awesome. And I'm just so happy to be working there and being able to
Yeah,
give that way. So yeah.
totally. Yeah, exactly. I believe the Lord's blessed you too since that, because you were so giving. And
Mhm.
um I believe it's those alms, those giving to the poor, that has the opportunity to become a tenfold increase, those alms and offerings,
Yeah.
on top of
Yeah.
our tithes, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's awesome. And so now, looking out into the future, what kinds of things has the work that we've been doing together, what kinds of things has this now been opening up for you to be able to now have new visions about, new dreams about, to be able to look forward to, and see what's possible now that maybe you didn't see before?
Yeah, I kind of want you to do this interview with me in probably 6 months again, because I feel like I am so new into this space of having more money, trying to use it wisely, having the
Mhm.
campaigns work more successfully, that I am just now believing it's real. Like,
Mhm.
I have to admit, the first few months in, I'm just like not trusting it.
Right.
And a lot of the money was going, aside from the hunk that I just blew through, but
Yeah.
a lot of it's going, to grow.
Right.
And so now I'm starting to see, gosh, though, if this consistently comes in, what might that be?
Mm.
And I will say, we switched campaign paths just recently.
Mhm.
And I know that I would have kind of gone into that, oh my gosh, like, what do we do now? And like, whatever. But instead, you were telling me last month, I can kind of see this starting. I think we're going to work at another. But even just doing my last mastermind, I could tell that I would have thought that a month later,
Mhm.
after, and it's just such a relief to have this. So when I see the future, I don't see that kind of panic about the next way I need to earn money. It's kind of in your hands. I'll do the work, but you're kind of guiding me, and I
Yeah.
trust you. And I think to myself, like, uh can you not busy yourself with a bunch of other clients? I know that we're doing a testimonial for you to get clients, but I'm kind of like, you can't leave me. Like,
Yeah. Of
that's
course.
fine.
No, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah.
Because I just know that, we'll just continue to grow. And I also
Yeah.
know that you've helped people in much bigger places than I am.
Mhm.
So I just need to stay the course, do what you say, and trust the system. And I'm excited. I want God to bless not just my business like he is,
Mhm.
but the nonprofit area, which is
Right.
the other stuff, and my family. And I just want it to be the way it's supposed to be. And that's the other thing, is you're so faith-based. Maybe if you work with people that aren't, you're not this way. But for me, you're praying before and after is really important to me. And I feel the Holy Spirit when you pray. So I know that what we're doing is covered.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm excited too for the future, and it's been awesome just
Yeah.
in the short time that we've been working together, because you've been so coachable. You literally just do every single thing that
Mhm.
I give you to do, with you and your team. I can always trust that if I give you any kind of CEO assignments, that they're going to be done next week. That next week we talk about them, they're going to be done. And that has also made the process very smooth. And that's why I believe you've been able to see so much success, so much growth in such a short time. I mean, you went from earning 10K a month relatively to 40 to 50K, like pretty much right after we started working together.
Yeah.
The first month you did 70K, and then kind of been averaging between 40 to 50K, since then. And
Yeah.
so,
If I'd have just done 70K every quarter, I'd have been like, okay, great.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, so I'm excited for you, and I understand that in the beginning it was unfamiliar. Like, wow, like I'm making this much, I'm earning this much. So it kind of feels a little odd in the beginning. It feels unfamiliar, like it's new territory that you're stepping into, and
Yeah.
eventually you get used to it and you're like, yeah, I am Niccie, who has a business that earns this much revenue.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
excited.
starting to believe it. I'm starting to believe it and get hopeful.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've also been able to make it happen in a time where a lot of people are seeing their business impacted by things like the economy, but you've been blessed in this
Mhm,
time as well. And I believe God has a big part to play in that as well,
mhm.
which is awesome.
Yeah, I want to say two things about that though. One is, we're really trying to work in a place of integrity, and that I think is really, people are attracted to that. They feel it, trust it, and so that's really good if you're looking for a coach, knowing that that's going to be your goal, Alan's, as much as it is mine.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I would say is don't wait. Maybe I'm jumping ahead in the video, but like that's the lesson I learned. Like I should have done this months ago,
Mm,
and don't wait. And I mean, if you've done one campaign that literally has worked, then you have the nuts and bolts. You have something that is good and people like it. And that's when, why not then market it well? And you can spend months, years, like I did, doing the same old thing and getting the same old results. And
yeah.
so don't wait like I did.
Mm, yeah. That's good advice. Just not hesitate and take action. If you need to get help to get it soon, right?
You're sort of burying your talent, honestly. You're sort of like a little afraid of investing,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
And so you sort of bury it. And once
Right.
I invested, granted, used my mom's money, or so I thought I was going to, then
Mm,
it was multiplied. And you just get scared. Get
yeah.
scared.
Yeah, that's true. And it is scary to invest in yourself, especially at a higher level, which is understandable.
Yeah.
So, any last words for someone who might be listening, might be considering working together with me, or maybe not. Maybe they're just watching this video just out of curiosity. Any last words or final comments or words of encouragement for them?
Yeah, I do feel like my advice would have been don't wait. But honestly, the only other thing I can think of is that people may be watching this in different levels in their business. And so, I mean, I just have been around you personally and some of the people you're helping. And I know that I'm sort of set because I think that if you had someone even before me, like me a year ago,
Mhm.
you would have helped me so much. So beginner, or now I'm a little more confident in my stuff and you're able to help me, but I don't feel like I've got to turn around and then go find another business coach in like 2 months when I'm 6 months sitting here consistently. Like I know I'm in a good place
Mm.
for my growth. Like that's huge to me. Nobody wants to be switching coaches all the time, and I just think that I'll be able to grow with you.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm excited to grow with you too, and
Yeah.
continue to serve you, and as I learn more, be able to help you even more as well too.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been such a gift, and I'm so grateful for you, Alan.
Yeah, I'm grateful for you too. Well, thank you, Nikki, for taking the time to do this interview with you. And if you're watching this, listening, and you're considering working together, then just feel free to send me a message or book a call. I might also have this video placed on a page to book a call down below, and we could just get on a talk, see if it's a fit, and see if it's something that we could do at this time. And then if not, then maybe at another time. But thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a great
Mm.
rest of your day.